Today we're going to be pre-wiring a plug-and-play audio loom. This is going to enable us to plug a Pioneer touch panel and PAC steering wheel control interface directly into the factory harness of the Subaru Forester. We're going to be using this Metra connector, which comes pre-wired and is ready to go straight into the Subaru's factory harness. This is the Pioneer's. The long green cable is for the park brake for the DVD lockout. And there's a few extra wires for remote amp turn on, dimming the head unit, and auto switching for the reverse. For more info about the reverse camera, please check out the video. I like to start by straightening out the cables and then cutting off the ends so that they're all nice and even. Having a good pair of pliers is pretty handy right now. I like to use channel lock. Using the wire strippers, just nip about 1 centimeter off the end of each cable. You don't have to do this with the Metra cables because they're all pre-cut and ready to use. What you've probably noticed is that the colours on the Pioneer Loom look a lot similar to the ones that are on the Metra Loom. The reason for this is that most stereo cable colours are pretty universal. Alright, this is the PAC interface. So with these cables we're just going to trim it down and then nip the ends off the ones that we're actually going to use. Before you do anything with the PAC, please refer to its manual, as each wire is not required for each vehicle. In case of the Subaru, it only needed one of the white ones. The other cables can safely be removed. Now we're going to start by pre-crimping butt connectors onto each end of the Metra connector. I like to start with the Metra connector because we'll usually use most, if not all, of the cables on the Metra connector, but you might not use all of them on the other ones. As noted with the PAC, you might even be removing some. As noted, the cable colours are pretty universal. Red is a switched 12 volt, black is always the ground, yellow is a permanent 12 volt, blue is remote turn on for amps as well as electric antennas and other little accessories for the stereo. The green, purple, white and grey cables are in pairs, and they go together to each speaker. So now what we'll do is we'll take the Pioneer's loom and connect the switch 12 volt red to the switch 12 volt red of the PAC interface and then connect it to the switch 12 volt red on the Metra harness. The reason why we connect the PAC to a switch 12 volt instead of permanent is because the PAC doesn't need to work when the car's off. Now we can go ahead and repeat this with the black grounding cables. Here you can see how easy it is to crimp with the channel lock pliers, and it gives a good firm crimp that's going to last for years and years and years, and probably longer than you're going to own the car or this CD player. Rightio, so it looks like we're almost all crimped down, apart from the auto dimmer cable. The only thing left to do is to wire up the speakers. Now with the speaker terminals we'll be doing something a little different, because we will be running the two rear speakers off the head unit, and we're going to be running the front speakers from an external amplifier. We're not going to be using the front speaker outputs off the Pioneer, which is the grey and the white. So what we're doing is snipping the ends off, then we'll insulate the ends using 3M tape, and then once they've been individually isolated, bundling them up just to keep them together and out of the way. The goal here is to minimize shorts. And as you can see, a top quality pair of pliers will cut through insulating tape like nothing. Separate them out, stick them down, then wrap it all up. Rightio, now that everything is all crimped together, all that is left to do is to wrap the whole lot up so that it sits nice and has a factory finish. You'll note that I've got the speaker wires to connect the front speakers, being the white and the grey, on the Metra loose, because I'm going to be reusing the factory front speaker cable through the doors and into the speakers. Some people will say not to do this, some people don't like to do this, but the car's almost new, the factory put it there. Unless you're chasing pure sound quality or it makes you feel better, go ahead and do it, but I never bother. When you're binding these guys up, just make sure you get a good wrap around the heads of all of the butt connectors, so when you're pulling them in and out of the dash it doesn't tangle up and accidentally rip one out. Make sure to leave any cables loose that you need to leave loose while you're doing the wrapping. In this case, the reverse camera switch, the interlock for the handbrake, the front speaker connectors, and the remote amp turn on. Wrap up the PAC wire separately. The blue is your remote turn on, the green is your interlock, and the little purple guy is your reverse switch. And the white is to interface with the factory steering wheel controls. And now we are ready to go and plug this in. Tune in next time.